This is Marketing Over Coffee with Christopher Penn and John Wall.
Good morning. Welcome to Marketing Over Coffee. I'm John Wall.
I'm Christopher Penn.
And today, I hate to start off as a complaining old man, but we have a, quotes, snow day. We've been doing this thing where if the weather report is bad the night before, they cancel school. And the roads are fine this morning. So my kids, on July 17th, when they're still in school, we can explain to them why that is happening. But nonetheless, here we are. So, we might as well keep up the complaining trend because ChatGPT is just in all the news everywhere all the time. Am I being overly sensitive by complaining about this, or what do you think?
No, it is. It's literally everything anyone is talking about. In fact, for the event in London I'm going to speak at, I got a request from the organizer a couple weeks ago about a month ago saying, hey, we want you to talk more about large language models and things. And then 2 weeks ago, they're like, so can you just make it all about ChatGPT? And I'm like, sure. Sure, we can do that.
When I saw that come in, I was like, oh my God. But then I already see your session with a line out the door of people waiting to come in because you've been covering this forever and people are so hungry for it. So you're just going to tee it up and kill it. There have been some interesting things, and you have been right at the forefront of it as far as some interesting stuff as far as taking your own copy or resources that you sit on and having GPT summarize them or clean them up for publication. Like, that's for real. This stuff of it actually writing your blog posts for you, you just like throwing something in and posting it seems ridiculous. So what kind of stuff are you getting ready to throw out for London? What's on the list lately that you've seen working?
The big thing is explaining to people how these models work and why they work. Because people don't understand the underlying models, they don't know why a prompt does or does not work. And so if they understand how embeddings work, positional encodings work, et cetera, and we're not going to get into the technical stuff. Like, they don't need to know the mathematics behind it, but knowing what those things are and why they matter will help you construct better prompts. Because the essence of using these tools well is understanding that the prompts can not only dictate the outputs in terms of the quality, but even the format. So for Trust Insights, one of the things that we do is we have it generate headlines for content. And I will specify in the prompt, deliver this as a pipe delimited table as output, so that I can then take an R script and process that programmatically. So I don't, it's not a human being copying and pasting anymore. And just being able to tell it, deliver my results in this format is a huge win, because it means that there's a predictable format for the output and you can scale it really fast. You can build scripts that can do, hundreds and hundreds of requests to the API instead of one person copying and pasting. What I've seen a lot of in marketing is people kind of doing it, they are the script, right? They're copying and pasting all this stuff. And I'm like, I mean, that's fine if you enjoy that, but from an efficiency perspective, that's not a real great use of your time when you can have the machines do this for you and then just take that output and route it other places.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And that is like the most interesting thing that I've heard is people doing, having it write code for them, whether it's some JavaScript or a great starting place. And I guess that's no different really than rough drafts for people writing, if people want a rough draft on something to dig with and go. How about any other tricks? I've got that link to your piece on working on prompts. I'm getting, different types of prompts and how to test those. Anything else people need to know on that front?
In addition to that, just thinking about the kinds of outputs you want. Like you said, you can use it to generate code. The thing that I would caution people is that if you're using it for generation as opposed to revision, you really want to have a subject matter expert checking the outputs, doing some QA on it, because it will deliver very plausible, very well written, very authoritative, completely wrong information. And if you don't have subject matter expertise, you're contributing to the problem of incorrect information being published in the world. So I strongly encourage people to have subject matter experts really, participating in the QA process.
Yeah, that's our friend of the show, Chris Christensen, who does the Amateur Traveler. did a newsletter where he had it generate a bunch of restaurant reviews and explanations of restaurants. And they were just all completely wrong. Like, they didn't have the dishes that we were talking about. It just kind of put something together that fit the thing, but none of it was true. So yeah, verifying is a huge part of this and getting that straight. Another article about SEO settings for LinkedIn articles. Now, this is something that I had missed as far as the ability to go in there. You take your LinkedIn articles, if you go into the settings, it actually you can fill in the SEO phrases that you want. I mean, I'm a little bit surprised even that LinkedIn will set it up and do it that way. I don't know. Is that surprising to you, or does this make sense for what they're trying to do with the articles?
It makes sense. The thing is, I would be very hesitant to actually use those tools, because if you're optimizing your LinkedIn content, you're basically doing LinkedIn's SEO job for them. And if you're optimizing your LinkedIn content, unless you don't have a website of your own, you're kind of undercutting yourself, So I would say, you have to think about your overall SEO strategy and where your LinkedIn content fits in, and how much of that organic search traffic do you just want to hand to LinkedIn, and how much do you want to reserve for yourself. You might perhaps want to take maybe the junk at the bottom of the barrel and use that on your LinkedIn optimizations, and save the good key phrases and stuff and pillar content for your own site first, because otherwise, like I said, you're basically doing LinkedIn's job for them. And while we love LinkedIn at the show here, I would suggest that it's always a good idea to build on your own land first.
Yeah, that makes sense. Now, TikTok, too, their insights tool, I got a link where people can check everything out on that front. That is, it kind of strikes me as the classic ad front end, and your ability to dig around in there and see pretty much which content you should generate, or think about what kind of stuff fits in your mission plan. Is there anything else in there that's worthwhile that people should be checking out or running, queries against?
It's interesting. TikTok is about as stingy with their data as LinkedIn is. It can be really challenging to work with that, to understand what's working and what's not. And a lot of the scraping tools, understandably, it's kind of a moving target. It's very difficult to keep a tool working for any amount of time, because these different services just sort of change the back end code. And so it's a lot of trial and error. And the thing about TikTok that is challenging, that people don't understand, older social networks are focused on the person, right? You follow somebody on LinkedIn, you follow somebody on Facebook, you follow somebody on Twitter. And Instagram to some degree, and TikTok to a great degree, you follow a topic, right? And the algorithm for optimization is around topics. So you may knock it out of the park in terms of views or engagements on one topic or one video, and get nothing at all on a separate topic. Even though you have X number of followers, you don't get that reliably with TikTok. It really varies by the topic itself. So the thing to pay attention to is less, the account level stuff, and more, are you creating the content that audiences want on there? Whether or not, if the goal is to drive visibility for your account, you've got to make stuff that people want. And so, it's dance parties for all of us.
That's what gets the main traffic. All right, I want to talk about AI DJs on Spotify, and I've got a bunch of other things as far as remarkable marketing that we'll kick around. But before we do that, we just want to thank LinkedIn Marketing Solutions for their support of Marketing Over Coffee. As a business-to-business marketer, your needs are unique, B2B buying cycles are long, and your customers face incredibly complex decisions. Isn't it time you had a marketing platform built specifically for you? LinkedIn Ads empowers marketers with solutions for you and your customers. LinkedIn Ads allow you to build the right relationships, drive results, and reach your customers in a respectful environment. You'll have direct access to and build relationships with decision makers, 875 million members, 180 million senior level executives, and 10 million C-level executives. You'll be able to drive results with targeting and measurement tools built specifically for B2B. Audiences exposed to brand messages on LinkedIn are 6 times more likely to convert. Audiences on LinkedIn have 2 times the buying power of the average web audience. You'll work with a partner who respects the B2B world you operate in. LinkedIn Ads is also ranked number 1 for security, community, and ad experience as part of Business Insider's Digital Trust Study. We're all in with LinkedIn. We've been using it for all of our content. We've got the Thursday live stream. We've got ads going for our clients and for ourselves. Make B2B marketing everything it can be and get a $100 credit on your next campaign. Go to linkedin.com/MoC to claim your credit. That's linkedin.com/MoC. Terms and conditions apply. And we thank them for their support of the show. Lil Pump has a GTA server for his new songs that have dropped last week and a new song dropping tomorrow. For all the talk about metaverse and things like that, I still don't get why people don't pay so much more attention to gaming. You know, if you're going to do a Grand Theft Auto server, that is going to generate traffic and action. You know, I mean, that's where all this stuff goes on. I also have, I've got a pitch and I'm following up on. State Farm actually sponsored a Charlie Puth concert in Fortnite in their pavilion. And so I'm trying to get through to get more, see if we can talk to some of the people behind that and find out what they did and how that went, because I would love to learn more about that and that whole part of kind of these virtual events. Yeah. Any other stuff on the gaming front, though, or anything that you've been watching there as far as virtual events and metaverse?
Not really, although I'm astonished at the number of people who across different demographics are still all in on Minecraft. Like, it is still ridiculously huge, even though like the buzz has worn off. It's just got that sustained gigantic community. So, you know, keep digging those blocks.
Yeah, it's just those communities are built. Yeah, it doesn't matter. The hype cycle no longer applies because there's just millions. I mean, there are still people that play StarCraft, you know? I mean, it's just insane that these things can run for decades and decades and spin off billions of dollars. But I still don't understand why a social network hasn't linked into that. You know, you'd think that somebody would tie this stuff together rather than try and force people down a headset. But here we are. Yeah, a lot of chatter still about Apple's new headset. I don't know. We'll see. It's supposed to be here by the summer. We've heard a lot of rumblings about it. Last thing I saw was like a $2,500 price point because supposedly it has, like 10 or 12 cameras on the outside. So it actually keeps track of where you are outside as well as eye cameras inside for eye tracking.
I don't see anyone paying the price of a high-end MacBook for a set of goggles. I really don't.
Yeah, I'm right with you on that. So we'll see if that's just like grabbing the top or where that goes. But we'll keep an eye on that. I have to give a shout out for amazing marketing too. This is just ridiculous, but I wear Crocs to the swimming pool in the summer. And then during the winter, I've given up on slippers, right? Because it's just like I destroy them every year. So I wear Crocs with socks and I look ridiculous, but I don't leave the house. So it's not a problem. So I was like, all right, these are worn out. They're falling apart. I need to order a new pair. Well, they have these plastic branded tchotchkes that you actually stick onto the Croc. You know, they have these holes on them. And so you can go and they have every brand in the world. And it's just insane because here I was thinking like, all right, $40 for my 2 pairs of Crocs. I'm all good. I get to my shopping basket and it's $98. I've bought like $50 worth of tchotchkes. And so I have to give a shout out just for fantastic marketing on that front, you know, to basically double your revenue on me just because of my own vanity and these ridiculous logos is brilliant. And I need to give them a shout out for that. The other one is AirTags. I finally bit the bullet. Adorama had a sale on AirTags. And so I got a 4-pack. There's actually one, Chris, to you in the mail. You should get it today to get a chance to play with it. But I've been really blown away with that as far as its ability to. There are other tracking devices, but the fact that this fits right into my Apple account, and so everybody else in the family can track this stuff with no setup. You know, it just, the experience is just way ahead of previous tags and other smart object things. So I had to give a shout out for both those guys there. Anything else on Gear Watch for you? You got microphones coming, but I know those aren't out yet. Anything else?
Nothing on the Gear Watch front. I did see, it was very interesting on the subscription side of things, that YouTube Music is going to be offering podcasts soon. They are going after Spotify and Spotify's share of the podcast market. So I think for all of us who are in the podcasting space, we're going to be paying very careful attention to this to see if there's anything different that we have to be doing than we have been. I mean, Tom Webster and the folks over at Sounds Profitable have been saying for years that podcasters who want to get found need to have their shows on YouTube. Like, just there's no debate about this. That's the top discovery engine for podcasts. And now this new offering that YouTube is putting out into the market, we're going to see how this goes. We're going to see how YouTube handles it, and if there's anything that we can do as podcasters to improve the visibility of our shows within the platform. But just know that that's a thing that's coming.
Yeah, that's definitely something to keep an eye on because I don't know, it's just amazing. That and the YouTube television too is just amazing to see what they've done over on that front. If you're not on that super premium side of things, it's not cheap, but the fact that you get everything at that price and to be able to watch anything you want, it's basically DVR on the cloud for everything. It's just insane. All right. Yeah, we'll keep an eye on that. Also on Spotify front, two things there. One, I've got a link to an article about an AI DJ, which is interesting. We're so used to those year-end summaries. Well, they're actually putting that stuff to work to drive the AI, where a DJ will come on and say, hey, John, here's the tunes you listened to last year. And, looks like you're ready for a dance party because you've been listening to this and that. So kind of interesting. We'll see if people end up falling in love with their virtual DJ and if that gets all weird. But that'll be something that comes down the pipe. And related, also turntable.fm, for anybody that remembers that from years ago, has come back as tt.live. It's still in beta. I did a couple test runs and we had a few things kind of choke and burn. But if you sign up for the text line at 617-812-5494, you'll get a live link to that when it goes live, because hopefully we'll be fully live in the next week or two. If I can get through without the thing getting wonky on me, we'll go ahead and do that. And you've got Podcamp coming up next week in Philadelphia. What's going on there? Who are you catching up with?
Yeah, headed down to Philadelphia. Whitney Hoffman and the crew there are putting on Podcamp Philadelphia, 2023. I'm going to be talking about the end of SEO, a mildly controversial title. And it's unsurprisingly going to be about large language models and, yes, ChatGPT. But the ways that these large language models will be interacting with users and what we can expect, and then the strategies that we need to pursue to deal with the impending reduction in organic search traffic, particularly unbranded search. So that's what's coming up in a couple of weeks. That will be recorded, so there's a good chance that once that's done, we'll have it up on the Trust Insights YouTube channel and stuff like that, so people can check that out.
All right, that sounds good. All right, and as far as live events too, I'm looking at in the fall, I have a couple of Marketing Over Coffee guests, and I was thinking about getting them together at a single location and just recording 3 or 4 episodes in a single shot. If that's something you'd be interested in checking out virtual or in person, I actually do have a venue that I've been looking at and maybe doing something live in the fall. So again, if that's of interest, drop us a line via social or sign up on the text line. Hopefully, if enough of the COVID hangover is done and people want to come out into the real world, we could see what we can get going with that. But otherwise, and you've got London coming up on that. We've got a discount code for that in the show notes. You can check that out if you're going to be out there. Anything else on your calendar after that?
B2B Ignite in Chicago and possibly CEX as well. So lots of events coming up in the spring here, and then waiting to hear, of course, on all things for the usual fall conference circuit as well. But there's always something. All
right, that sounds good. That'll do it for this week. So until next week, enjoy the coffee.
Enjoy the coffee.
You've been listening to Marketing Over Coffee. Christopher Penn blogs at christopherspenn.com. Read more from John J. Wall at jw5150.com. The Marketing Over Coffee theme song is called Mellow G by Fonkmasters, and you can find it at Musical.ly from Mevio, or follow the link in our show notes.